Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the new season of GeoEnviroPro Talks, the free Wednesday talks that we provide for you to bring you interesting technical information to help you with get about your business in environmental site assessment and remediation. Today, we're going to be introducing the GeoEnviroPro team, and we're going to be going through some of the exciting training opportunities that we have coming up for you over the next several months. So to begin with, in the team, I'm Guy Patrick. I'm a contaminated hydrogeologist, and I've been practicing for about 35 years, and I've also been teaching for well over a couple decades because I think it's important that we share our knowledge in contaminated sites. Next on our team, I'm going to introduce Ian Hers. Maybe you can say a couple things, Ian.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Hers. I have a geoenvironmental engineering background with over 30 years consulting experience working for local and national clients. I'm the owner and founder of Hers Environmental Consulting. I enjoy teaching very much and look forward to hopefully meeting many of you this year through our courses.
And Ian's new to our team at GeoEnviroPro, as is Zara Pirani, who she's not able to join us today, probably because she's with a major waste management company in Canada, and she's working hard at her job. She also has many years of consulting, and she happens to be president of the Science Advisory Board of BC. So we will really welcome Zara to our team. Pete, you're up next. Maybe you can give us a little blurb about yourself.
How you doing? I'm Pete Craig. I've been, some of you know me from previous remediation seminars. I'm an ex-consultant, but with about 21 years of experience in industry, but I've been working with QM Environmental now for many years, and bring a contractor's perspective on how to actually get remediation projects done and how to handle contracts and procurement processes.
Awesome. Thanks, Pete. Scott.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Steer. I'm an environmental toxicologist, and I've been doing human health and ecological risk assessment and environmental consulting for about 20 years now. I operate a small consulting firm called Steer Environmental in the West Kootenays.
Awesome, thanks. Ryder, you know, maybe in case Ryder forgets to mention it, Ryder started this whole GeoEnviroPro thing many years ago. Thanks, Ryder.
Well, hello, everyone. My background is civil engineering, and what brought me to the field of contaminated sites was the multidisciplinary approach that we take to investigate and risk assess and remediate. And you can see that in the team that you're meeting today. There's experts with backgrounds and expertise in different fields. My sort of specialty, what I love about the work, is developing practical and cost-effective approaches by looking at the big picture of the problems and the solutions. And this is what I like to share through in GeoEnviroPro workshops and talks.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Ryder. And finally, the spark that keeps us all going, Jen.
I don't know about that. Good morning, I'm Jen Mayberry. I have been with GeoEnviroPro for the last couple of years. I work as a risk assessor with Steer Environmental, and I have over 20 years experience in contaminated sites, working as a consultant, as a landowner's representative, and as a regulator.
Awesome, thanks. Well, I think as Ryder kind of summed up, you can tell our team we each bring specialty areas and different areas of expertise and experience to the table here, which is really awesome. And it's awesome when you're putting together courses and having the opportunity to share what we know with you, the audience out there. So what's coming up in 2022? Well, we're going to continue these GeoPro talks, more on that later. We have a whole host of training programs and opportunities coming up, which I'm going to go through shortly. And then we also have recordings and on-demand training that are available through our website. So I encourage you to check out our website for some of that information. So on to the events in 2022. First up, on February 8th, this is coming up shortly, I guess, within a month, we have a short course, a 3-hour session on the introduction to contaminated sites. We're going to hear about that soon. And that will lead into our annual Contaminated Sites Fundamental course, a course that's aimed at people that are relatively new to the industry, that want to learn some of the important building blocks on how to investigate sites, assess the sites, look at risk assessment, look at remedial options, and understand the do's and don'ts of environmental consulting. And that'll be followed up by a field school in May, where it's an online field school, of course, because of the issues with COVID still. But we're going to hear a bit more about that soon from Ian Hers. Then we'll be following that with a site remediation course that myself and Pete Craig are going to be putting on together with other contractors to discuss how we take all this information and develop effective remediation strategies. And then in the fall, we'll be kicking off the autumn with a short course on environmental risk, ecological and human health risk assessment. We'll hear from Scott Steer about that. And then the annual, I call it the Beyond Data short course. This is the site characterization and remediation conceptual site model course, which we call Beyond Data. It's an exciting course, and I look forward to delivering that one. And then finally, we'll have a soil vapor intrusion course, which is going to be led by the eminent Ian Hers. So, Ryder, why don't you tell us a bit about what's happening on February 8th?
Yes. So the introduction to contaminated sites is a new course. Some feedback we got from last year's fundamentals workshop was to develop a short introductory course that covered all the basics of contaminated sites, and it geared towards those who own or manage contaminated sites but may not have a science background. And it's also geared towards new hires to give them a quick overview of what's important. So this 3-hour workshop is also a great primer for the follow-on 7-week-long fundamentals workshop, which I'll speak to next. So on the next slide, Guy. So this core workshop on contaminated sites fundamentals we put on over several years. First, we started with a face-to-face workshop, and later we developed it as an online workshop. And this year we start on February 22nd with 3-hour lecturettes and discussions on Tuesdays, and on Fridays we have a 1-hour tutorial to go over assignments and other questions that come up. And this course covers the big picture from investigation right through to remediation, including some virtual demonstrations of field methods that Ian will actually show some examples of today. There will be some take-home group exercises, report back, and discussion. And each session will be recorded, so in case you miss a session, you can then watch the recording. The workshop, once you finish it, you will get a certificate for 28 hours of professional development. So that's over to you, Guy.
Okay, thanks, Ryder. Hey, just to remind folks, we haven't put the pricing up for these courses. There is a fee for these, of course. That's all information available on our website, and we'll also be presenting that in later sessions. So Ian, what's the online field school all about?
Well, thanks, Guy. Yeah, the virtual field school will build on the fundamentals that Ryder just described and provide a much more in-depth course on sampling methods. We felt that this was something that practitioners are needing really to dive into those methods. So we'll have over 8 hours of content, detailed videos, ample time for class discussion and questions. Well, this slide shows some of the soil vapor methods we'll cover. But to provide a flavor of the course, the next few slides show some examples of the content we've created. So Guy, let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so this slide shows the sonic drilling method. It's just one of several we'll cover, and we'll address the method and advantages and disadvantages. And the next slide shows the sonic drill core. And so one of the advantages of this method is an ability to obtain a continuous core. And actually a nice feature of the virtual training is that we're able to provide close-up details. And guys going to zoom in on the core here. And as you can see, there looks like there's a contaminated layer, and we'll talk through strategies for sampling in this field course. So again, we're going to bring the field, so to speak, right to the virtual classroom. So the last slide we've prepared just as an example is soil vapor leak testing. It's a really important part of the QA process. So let's go through this example.
Okay, so we're going to inject our helium. We have our pump going, right? We're purging. We have our primary calibrator hooked up. We're purging at.
Yeah, so that was Al Robeson, and he's with Caltech, and he's one of our partners in delivering the field training. And so we're really excited about that, and having the ability again to go into detail and go through those protocols in detail. So I hope that many of you can join us in the field course this coming May.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian. And let's move on now to risk assessment, and this funny little guy here holding a carrot and a can of noxious whiskey or something.
Thanks, Guy. Our annual risk assessment course will run in September and October of this year. It'll consist of 4 modules, 2 modules on the basics of human health risk assessment and ecological risk assessment, and then a 3rd and 4th module on more advanced ecological risk assessment topics, in particular food chain modeling and weight of evidence assessment. There'll be a total of 9 hours of web-based instruction, as well as assignments and quizzes. So if you're interested in that, please don't hesitate to reach out.
All right, thanks, Scott. And then towards the end of 2022, I'll be bringing back the Beyond Data short course. This is the conceptual site model course in site characterization and remediation. So here we have 6 3-hour sessions where we go through the key elements of what is a conceptual site model, what goes into the site history, the geology, stratigraphy, environmental fate and transport, etc. And how do we pull all these elements together into a way of constructing a report that people can actually understand and allows you to understand what's happening at your site so you make effective investigation remediation decisions. I enjoy giving this course, and we've had a lot of great feedback over the past decade since we started this. So I look forward to doing this again with you next fall. And then, of course, these GeoPro talks are going to be happening every Wednesday now, right through June. So we're pretty happy about that. It's fun to actually bring in experts from around the province, from around the country, from around the globe, for that matter. We have quite international reach now. So Scott, why don't you give us a little blurb about who we've got coming up next week on GeoPro Talks?
Sure, yeah. The first talk of the season will be on January 19th, next Wednesday. Anthony Aquino of Agate Laboratories will be here to tell us about differentiating between biogenic and petrogenic petroleum hydrocarbon sources, in particular why it's important, as well as recent lab method advancements. So we hope you can join us for that one.
That sounds pretty exciting. And there's a theme here because we've had previous talks on, I see you got GC by GC. We've had talks about that. We've had talks about biogenic components of petroleum hydrocarbons. And it's great to see the advances in this particular aspect of the science. The following Wednesday, on January 26th, we're bringing back Dr. Andrew Cohen. He's a contaminant hydrogeologist based in New Jersey. He does environmental consulting, and he also has been involved in the groundwater project, which GeoEnviroPro is a sponsor of, to bring groundwater science globally to people around the world, to avail the science to people that need it. So one of the things that Andrew's been working on is a fate and transport tool, which he has made available free. He calls it the SPARG, and we'll have to tune in on the 26th to see exactly what that's all about. But as you can see, it's a spreadsheet model that takes contamination in the groundwater plume as it migrates towards a discharge zone, such as a creek or river. And we see it's partitioning into the sediment and then into the surface water. So we'll have to see what that tool is all about and see how to get a copy of that. And then I'd like to ask Pete, maybe you have some idea of some of the other talks we've got coming up in GeoPro Talks.
Oh, we have a fantastic spring session on Wednesdays for free content. Some new remediation solutions coming out of Germany. Geosyntec's going to come by and talk about one of the world's first full-scale in situ sediment stabilization projects out of Australia. That's underwater soil stabilization, if you will. We've got PFAS soil stabilization here in Canada demonstrated at a full scale. So that's a proven remedial technology for PFAS and soil. Sessions on treatability, sessions on hyperconcentration of PFAS residuals in ion exchange waste. We've even got content on proven in situ immobilization of metals, particularly selenium, which I think continues to be a hot topic in British Columbia. All in all, every Wednesday, it's worth checking out what's coming up.
Awesome, Pete. Hey, that sounds really exciting. I'm looking forward to these upcoming GeoPro talks, and I'm sure you all are too. I can't wait. And of course, we couldn't do these talks. We couldn't pull all this together if we didn't have support from you, the audience, and from you, our members. Here's a list of our members. And how do you become a member to help us keep going with these exciting events? Well, become a member. You can become an individual member, a simple $15 a month or $150 a year. You could be a premium member. This is for a local company within your office, so that all people in your office can now have access to GeoEnviroPro. Or you can become an unlimited member for all of your offices of your company. Can have access to GeoEnviroPro, not only to our weekly GeoPro talks, the current and past recordings, but also more importantly, you get a 20% discount on all the upcoming training events we have coming up. So within a short time, the membership benefits are a must for you. So I encourage you to check that out. And if you have any questions for us, please feel free to visit our website at www.geoenviropro.com. Many of your questions can be answered there, including information on the upcoming courses and the costs and the schedule. And feel free to email us anytime at info@geoenviropro.com. And with that, I think I'd like to just say a hearty thank you to all you. And maybe all you other guys can say hello and goodbye. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, we
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
I look forward to seeing you next week at the first free talk on Wednesday at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock Pacific. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.